Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going deep on this guy, Hunter Hammett.
Okay.
He's this entrepreneur who is trying to build $12 million businesses in 12 months.
Yeah, one a month.
1 month.
Yeah.
Ambitious.
So we're going to be breaking down his strategies from an episode of the Grind Success podcast.
Okay.
And see what we can learn from his approach to productized services and just rapid growth in general.
It is a pretty bold goal for sure.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see if it's actually achievable and sustainable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to kind of set the stage a little bit, Hunter Hammett is the founder of Assembly, which is a company that basically builds and launches businesses.
Right.
Specifically creator-led B2B brands.
Mm.
And he's not new to the game.
No.
He's got over 15 years of experience.
Wow.
Assembly itself is already 4 months into this challenge with 4 businesses up and running.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and the fascinating part is that each of these businesses is built around the concept of productized services.
Yeah. Which we'll get into a little bit deeper. But essentially, it's about offering predefined services with set prices and scopes.
Right.
Eliminating all the custom work that often slows down traditional service businesses.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this approach is designed for speed and scalability,
Yeah.
which is core to his strategy. And their current portfolio includes ventures like Hey Friends, which is a YouTube agency partnered with Ali Abdaal.
Oh, wow.
Off Menu, which is a design agency, Viral Cuts, focusing on short-form video.
Mm-hmm.
And Keyframe, which is an animation studio partnered with Dan Coe.
Okay, so all kind of leveraging the power of creators and their audiences.
So we're seeing kind of a pattern here.
Yeah.
Partnering with established creators for instant credibility and reach.
Absolutely. But before we get into the how, let's look at the why.
Okay.
Why are productized services such a powerful model for rapid growth? One key reason is that they generate cash flow much faster than custom services.
Now I get that they're efficient.
Yeah.
But why faster cash flow specifically?
Well, it comes down to predictability and reduced friction. Okay.
So with a productized service, your pricing and deliverables are crystal clear.
Right.
This makes the buying process so much smoother.
Yeah.
No lengthy proposals or negotiations.
Right.
Plus, clients know exactly what to expect,
Jackson.
which leads to faster decision-making and payment.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's like grabbing something off the shelf versus commissioning a custom piece.
Exactly.
Much quicker turnaround.
Exactly. And this quick revenue is key to Hammett's strategy.
Okay.
He sees productized services as a launch pad.
Interesting.
They provide that upfront cash to fuel bigger ventures down the line, like developing SaaS products.
Okay.
Basically, software you subscribe to online.
So it's about building that initial momentum and then using it to propel yourself further.
Precisely. Now, let's unpack how he achieves this rapid scaling.
Okay.
One key ingredient is that he focuses on crowded markets.
Isn't that kind of counterintuitive? Wouldn't it be easier to stand out in a less competitive space?
You'd think so. Yeah.
But Hammett's approach is all about leveraging existing demand. Entering a crowded market means there's already an audience hungry for solutions.
Right.
Instead of spending time and resources educating the market, he can tap into that existing demand and start generating revenue right away.
So it's about riding the wave, not creating it from scratch.
Exactly. But entering a crowded market also means standing out is crucial.
Right.
And that's where his second key ingredient comes in.
Okay.
Influencer partnerships.
Right. We saw that with the Ali Abdaal and Dan Coe.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that translate to faster growth?
Okay, so imagine you're launching a new YouTube agency.
Hi.
You could spend months, even years, building your reputation and attracting clients.
Right.
Or you could partner with someone like Ali Abdaal, who already has a massive engaged audience of people interested in YouTube.
That's instant credibility and reach. You're borrowing trust and authority.
Exactly. And that leads to faster client acquisition, which is essential when you're trying to scale a business in just 30 days.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So find a crowded market.
Yeah.
Partner with an influencer. What's the third ingredient in this rapid growth cocktail?
Product audience fit.
Okay.
You need to align your offerings with the creator's expertise and their audience's needs.
Right.
If a creator is known for long-form YouTube content, launching a TikTok agency with them wouldn't make much sense.
Right. You got to play to strengths and ensure that the offering feels authentic to the creator's brand
Yeah,
and resonates with their audience.
precisely.
Yeah.
So we have a crowded market with existing demand, an influencer partnership for reach and credibility,
Yeah.
and a product that aligns perfectly with the creator's audience.
Yeah.
It's a powerful combination.
It sounds almost too good to be true. But what about the team behind all of this?
Yeah.
How do you assemble a team capable of launching a new business every single month?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Hammett's team-building strategy is as unique as his business model. He relies heavily on his existing network,
Okay.
prioritizing speed and trust over traditional hiring processes.
Okay, let's break that down. What does that look like in practice?
Okay, so imagine you need to fill a specific role, say a marketing manager for a new venture.
Okay.
Instead of posting job ads and sifting through hundreds of resumes,
Right.
Hammett taps into his personal and professional network.
Okay.
He reaches out to people he knows and trusts,
Okay.
people who have a proven track record.
So it's all about leveraging relationships and finding talent through referrals.
Exactly. This allows him to quickly assemble teams of skilled individuals
Yeah.
who are already familiar with his approach and work ethic.
Okay.
It's about hitting the ground running.
That makes sense in terms of speed, but wouldn't that limit the diversity of perspectives and experiences within the team?
It's a valid concern, however. Hammett supplements this network-driven approach with referral incentives,
Okay.
encouraging his existing employees to recommend talented individuals they know.
So it's about tapping into a wider network while still prioritizing those trusted connections.
Exactly, and it incentivizes employees to bring in top-tier talent,
Right.
creating a win-win for everyone involved.
But even with a great team, launching a business every month sounds incredibly intense.
Yeah.
Is there a risk of sacrificing quality for speed with this approach?
That's a key question, and we'll delve deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Exploring the potential challenges and ethical considerations of this rapid-fire approach.
Yeah.
Because while speed is important, maintaining quality and building sustainable businesses is crucial for long-term success.
That's a great point. We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But there's still so much more to explore. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll unpack the potential downsides of Hammett's strategy, analyze his advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, and discuss whether this approach is a game changer or a cautionary tale.
We'll be back to dive deeper into the world of Hunter Hammett and his million-dollar-a-month ventures.
Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive into Hunter Hammett's strategy of building these million-dollar businesses in just a month, each centered around productized services.
Right. And we saw how his approach leverages crowded markets, influencer partnerships, and product audience fit for rapid scaling.
Yeah. But as we wrapped up part 1, we started to touch on some potential downsides.
Yeah.
Is it possible to maintain quality when you're moving at such a breakneck speed?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And while Hammett emphasizes speed, he also stresses the importance of building sustainable businesses.
So how do you balance that need for speed with ensuring the long-term quality and viability of these ventures?
Well, it's a tightrope walk for sure.
Yeah.
One key factor is that productized services, by their nature, have these built-in constraints
Okay.
that help maintain quality even as you scale.
What do you mean by constraints?
Think back to that analogy of productized services being like a restaurant menu.
Right.
You have set offerings with clear descriptions and pricing.
Right.
This limits scope creep. That tendency for projects to expand beyond their initial parameters.
Right. So you're not constantly dealing with custom requests and adjustments,
Right.
which can eat up time and resources.
Exactly. This allows you to focus on delivering those core offerings consistently and efficiently.
Yeah.
Plus, with fixed scopes, you can create standardized processes and training materials,
Right.
making it easier to onboard new team members and maintain quality control.
So there's less room for variation,
Yeah.
which can be both a blessing and a curse, I suppose. But how does that translate to $1 million business in a month?
It all goes back to that rapid cash flow we talked about.
There.
With productized services, you're essentially creating a repeatable system for generating revenue.
Yeah.
You can take what works, refine it, and then replicate it across different ventures.
So it's like a blueprint for success, but each venture adds new data points,
Yeah.
helping you optimize the process even further.
Precisely. Now let's shift gears and look at some of the broader context surrounding Hammett's approach.
Okay, let's zoom out and see how it fits into the bigger picture.
What's fascinating is how this strategy aligns with these major trends in the business world, particularly the rise of the creator economy.
Right, we're seeing more and more individuals building successful businesses around their personal brands, expertise, passions.
Exactly. And Hammett's model taps directly into this trend.
Yeah.
It provides a framework for creators to monetize their influence and expertise beyond traditional methods like sponsorships or ads.
Yeah, it's like they're both riding the same wave.
Yeah.
Creators are looking for new revenue streams. And Hammett is offering a vehicle to do just that.
Exactly. And then there's the growing demand for efficiency and scalability in today's fast-paced environment.
Yeah, productized services fit that bill perfectly.
Absolutely. By offering predefined services with fixed prices, you streamline the sales process, reduce friction, and make it easier to scale your operations.
So it's not just about building businesses. It's about tapping into these larger forces that are shaping the future of work.
Precisely. And that's why it's so relevant, even if you're not aiming to launch $1 million venture every month.
Right.
There are valuable lessons here that can be applied at any scale.
Okay, let's talk about those lessons. What advice does Hammett offer to aspiring entrepreneurs? What can we learn from his approach?
One key piece of advice he emphasizes is to start creating content early.
So don't wait until you have the perfect product or service before you start building your audience.
Exactly. Start sharing your expertise, your insights, your journey.
Yeah.
Create valuable content that attracts your ideal audience and positions you as a thought leader.
It's like planting seeds that will eventually grow into a loyal customer base.
Precisely. He also stresses the importance of thinking long-term.
Okay.
Don't just chase quick cash, build something sustainable.
So it's not just about making a quick buck, it's about creating a business with staying power.
Exactly. It's about having a vision for the future and making decisions that support that vision.
Yeah.
Even if it means sacrificing some short-term gains.
That reminds me of something you said earlier.
Yeah.
Finding that balance between ambition and sustainability.
Absolutely. And Hammett's final piece of advice ties into this beautifully.
Okay.
Start with a service business.
So get out there and offer your skills to the world, even if it's not $1 million venture right off the bat.
Exactly. A service business is a fantastic way to generate revenue, validate your ideas, test the market, and build a foundation for something bigger.
It's like dipping your toes into the entrepreneurial waters before you dive in head first.
Precisely. And by starting with a service business, you can start applying those principles of productization early on.
Right.
Creating packages and offerings that are clear, concise, and easy to understand.
So we're seeing a recurring theme here: clarity, efficiency, and scalability. But I'm curious, are there any potential downsides or ethical considerations that we need to be aware of with this approach?
That's an important question, and it's something we'll explore in depth in the next part of our deep dive. Because while Hammett's approach offers these valuable insights, it's essential to consider the potential pitfalls and ensure that we're building businesses that are not only successful, but also ethical and sustainable.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll tackle those ethical considerations, discuss the potential pitfalls, and leave you with some final thoughts on how to apply these principles to your own life and career. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking Hunter Hammett's approach to building million-dollar businesses in just a month, focusing on productized services, creator partnerships, and rapid scaling.
Yeah, we've looked at the why, the how, and even some potential downsides to consider.
But as we wrap up our deep dive, I'd like to kind of delve into some of those ethical considerations that you mentioned earlier. Building businesses quickly is great, but what about doing it responsibly?
Yeah, that's a critical point. Speed and scale can sometimes come at a cost, right? And it's important to be mindful of the potential impact on your team, on your customers, and even on the wider industry.
So what are some specific concerns we should be thinking about here?
One of the biggest risks, I think, with this rapid-fire approach is burnout for both the entrepreneur and the team.
Yeah, that makes sense. Launching a business every month, even with streamlined processes, sounds incredibly intense.
It certainly is, and that's where strong leadership comes in. It's crucial to create a sustainable work environment where people feel supported, valued, and empowered to take breaks when needed.
So it's not just about pushing for results, it's about building a culture that prioritizes well-being.
Exactly. And that includes setting realistic expectations, encouraging open communication, and fostering a sense of shared responsibility.
Because ultimately, a burnt-out team won't be able to sustain that level of performance in the long run.
Precisely. Another ethical consideration is transparency, especially when working with influencers.
Right. We talked about how powerful those partnerships can be for reaching a target audience.
Yeah.
But what about the potential for misleading claims or blurring the lines between promotion and genuine recommendation?
That's a valid concern. It's crucial to be upfront about any partnerships or affiliations and to avoid making exaggerated claims about your products or services.
So it's about being honest and ethical, not just effective.
Exactly. And it's about building trust with your audience, which is essential for any successful business, especially one that relies on influencer marketing.
Now, shifting gears a bit, what about some of the potential pitfalls entrepreneurs might encounter when they're trying to apply these principles? What could trip them up along the way?
One common mistake is getting caught up in the hustle and neglecting the strategy.
Yeah, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of launching new ventures. But if you're not careful, you can lose sight of the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. It's about having a clear vision, a solid plan, and the discipline to stay focused on your goals.
And to know when to say no to opportunities that might distract you from your core mission.
Precisely, another potential pitfall is underestimating the importance of building a strong team.
Yeah, we talked about Hammett's network-driven approach, but regardless of your method, having the right people in place is crucial.
Absolutely. You need people you can trust, who share your vision, and who are capable of executing at a high level. Building a business, especially at this pace, is a team sport.
And neglecting that aspect can lead to burnout, frustration, and ultimately derail your progress.
Exactly. So invest in your team, empower them, and create a culture that fosters collaboration and growth.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners? What can they apply to their own lives and careers, even if they're not launching a business every month?
Well, I think the world of work is changing, and the skills needed to thrive are evolving with it.
So how can we stay ahead of the curve?
First, cultivate a growth mindset. Be open to learning, experimenting, and embracing challenges. The only constant is change, and those who can adapt will be the ones who succeed.
That's great advice. What else?
Don't be afraid to take risks. Step outside your comfort zone, try new things, and view failures as learning opportunities.
Because often it's through our mistakes that we discover new paths and possibilities.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Build a network of support. Seek out mentors and surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you.
Because success, no matter how you define it, is rarely achieved in isolation.
And finally, never stop learning. Stay curious, explore new ideas, and embrace lifelong learning as a key to growth and fulfillment.
These are all incredibly valuable insights. So what does it all boil down to?
We have the power to shape our own careers and create a future where work is meaningful and aligned with our values. While Hunter Hammett's approach might not be for everyone, there are valuable lessons we can all learn from his journey.
Lessons about the power of focus, the importance of building a strong team, and the need to constantly adapt and evolve.
So go out there and make your mark on the world.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into Hunter Hammett and his $1 million a month ventures. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and found some valuable insights to apply to your own life and career.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
See you on the next deep dive.